That would have really sucked.
This is Cockpits and Cocktails. We use this podcast to share stories and talk about all things aviation and aerospace. Thank you for joining us for this episode. Cheers to you and enjoy.
You want to do the intro?
Yeah, what is it? Hi, everyone. Thanks for listening to Cockpits and Cocktails. It's Stephanie and
My girl Kelly. Hi, how are you?
good. Long time to talk.
I know.
What's going on?
Not a whole lot. Well, of course, my son is home. I'll touch on this briefly. He plays rugby at University of Kentucky, and he was playing in a tournament at Notre Dame. Gosh, it's been over a week ago, I guess. And I was not there. I was at home in Cincinnati, and I got a call from his coach that he was taken by ambulance to the emergency room there, and I probably needed to come. That it was pretty bad.
Oh, my God.
So of course I packed all my stuff. It's about a 4 hour drive, 4 plus a little bit hour drive, and so I hurried up and packed everything for an overnight. I didn't know how long I'd be staying, and then I'm kind of talking on my way up there with another mom who happened to be staying with him, and his ankle was dislocated. He was tackled, and his ankle was dislocated on the field, and then he broke his what was it? Fibula.
Tibia, I think. Or,
Fibula, I think.
Oh, okay.
I think. And it was bad. I mean, I started seeing pictures. It was just like his ankle, his foot was just like flopping around, and it was a clean break. So we needed to figure out within that time what was going to happen, if he's going to have surgery there, if we were going to be able to bring him back here. And we did. Once I got up there, I saw him, and he was, full of meds, and we wound up driving back the same day, and then got in to see a doctor, and he had surgery. He had to have some screws and plates and things like that put in his foot, and he's been recovering at my house pretty much in bed ever since. So that's kind of what I've been doing.
Even like when you roll your ankle, that hurts. I could not imagine what he's going through.
I was really glad that I wasn't there to see it, actually.
Oh, absolutely.
It was hard enough seeing him like in pain, and there's nothing I can do about it. He's like, this is the worst pain I've ever experienced. And it took like 2 hours from the time he hurt himself to get the medication to
oh my
the
God.
pain. He was like, it was the worst 2 hours of my life.
Well, what amazes me, like even after having surgery and stuff, I understand there's an epidemic and I understand blah, blah, blah. But if you clearly have basically your bone sticking out of your ankle, or if you do anything where you cut my body open, that's like grounds for, I don't think this person's faking.
Yeah. Yeah, this is real.
Like, I feel like, if you cut any part of my body open, it's painful.
Right.
But, oh man. But we were at a football game, a high school football game. I don't know what he broke, but it was someone. Of course, when he went down, like everybody got quiet, but it still gives me chills to this moment. The screams from this high school football player just echoed, and it was just like it was absolute, like I could not imagine, because you're obviously in pain, but it's not like, oh, I twisted my ankle pain, my or my back hurts. Like they clearly
excruciating pain.
I think it's good that you weren't there, because it's something that you don't ever need to hear that ever, because that'll just replay in your mind as a mom.
Yeah. And he said he was screaming, kids were puking looking at it, and it was.
Oh, well, you did show me the picture, and holy cow. Yeah, like that was, he is a champ.
Yeah, he's ready
2 hours.
I know.
I feel like they probably like give somebody medicine because they're like, if I have to hear this girl scream one more time,
like, here you go. Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah, I wasn't, concerned about the medical care because he went to the same hospital. Apparently, the Notre Dame players get treated at and stuff. I did have emergency rooms. I have a weird kind of. I don't trust them 100% because, well, I had a friend in high school who got in a bad car accident and they did not treat her leg or set her leg correctly, put it in a cast, and actually didn't need to go in a cast because she broke several bones. And it's the circulation. She had like no circulation in her leg, and they actually had to amputate her leg.
Oh my God.
And I don't know how much of that had to do with, the decisions that were made there and how much of it was just like there's just no repairing it. But I was like, oh God, I hope these people know what they're doing. And
yeah, I think nowadays things are just, if there's even, I tell people, even if you have cancer, like it's not having cancer 10 years ago. It's not having cancer 20 years ago. Things have changed. There's also major protocols and, with different surgeons and different, like they all have to be on the same team. So
I did a lot of praying and like just
I
please
believe that.
God, do not let him be in pain and God,
yeah,
these
it's more
doctors.
like the discomfort. Don't like he shouldn't have to be so uncomfortable that he can't.
Yeah.
But
well, that's a fun topic. So
yeah, I think we definitely lost listeners. No. They're probably like, oh yeah, that's sad. Talk about airplanes.
This is can you see these pictures? This is the one that got hurt right there. And then I have Brett over here. And then up there on top is Jack when they were little bitty.
I wish I could go back to those ages. Gosh, you don't think? You just want to see how they grow up and who they become, and then it's like,
oh my
snuggles.
gosh,
Give me
I know.
Snuggles.
And
but getting a hug from my daughter is like, no, I need you to put your arms around me. Don't lean in. Like,
yeah. It's been kind of nice having him here, and being able to have him around. He's usually a very busy guy that he wants to be back where his buddies are, but he knows he can't move. I'm ready to take him whenever he wants to go home, but he really has to keep his leg elevated, and it's painful when it's not. So I love seeing him. So I'm glad I get to see him and take care of him. It's nice.
Yeah, and I'm sure he wants to be back on the rugby team, like back doing what he loves.
Yeah, and I don't think that's going to happen this season. Yeah, but we'll see. I recently got and this is why we're going to talk about this today, because I recently received a bill from a trip that my boyfriend and I took for what you would call $100 hamburger. And $100 hamburger is something that, if you aren't aware, that started a long time ago, where people would get in their plane or rent a plane or whatever and fly to another location and have lunch or whatever. And they called it $100 hamburger because of the cost of fuel and everything. Well, it was over $500.
Yeah, I was going to say, like, so one time I was flying, I like to buzz the golf course. And by buzz, I mean legally buzz the golf course. When my husband's golfing. So a lot of times guys will be like, oh, is that such and such? And I guess the other day somebody was like, oh, is that Steve in his biplane? And I'm like, you know what a biplane looks like, right? Like, so anyway, yeah. But so a lot of times they'll be like, oh, is that your wife?
You can't identify airplanes. You just said you couldn't identify airplanes.
Yeah, I feel like a biplane is super obvious.
Yeah.
Also, so this guy never golfed like when I flew over, so he didn't know that I flew, and it was more of like, what? Your wife? What is she? What? Like, and John's like, she just does it for fun. Well, the one time I was flying over before I flew to Connecticut for lunch, and John was like, yeah, she's going up to Connecticut to have lunch, and someone's like, you do realize that's gonna be like $150. And John's like, yep, $150. Yep. He's
I
like
wish.
well
Yeah.
aware that it's like add 1,000 to that for that.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah. So where did you go? I mean, obviously I flew far for that one, and I
Yes.
mean the bill itself wasn't just the gas.
Yes. Right. Oh yeah. I don't even know the amount of what we spent on the lunch. I'm not even sure. It's
Right.
probably
I've spent like $5 on lunch before, but
yeah.
I flew 7 states to get it.
Yeah, we flew to this place in Indianapolis. It's kind of popular. It's called Eagle Creek. And they have a you land on the airport and then you walk across the street to this restaurant that's on like water. It's on a man-made lake there, and there's boats and everything there, and it has indoor outdoor seating and really, really good food. So it's not just a hamburger joint. It's more like a fancier kind of place to eat. And we went there and it was great. It's like an hour flight maybe for us. There are other places nearby that I go quite a bit that are more like 40 minutes or so. And it's fun. It's really fun to do with people that haven't flown a whole lot and
Mm-hmm.
they don't know what's out there. And you fly over all these airports and you're like, see, there's an airport, there's an airport. And they're like, I had no idea there were so many airports.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. But a lot of them, so there's like one that I'll meet up with Joe, because I'm on one side of the Philly Bravo, he's on the other side of the Philly Bravo. So it's him and the guys in his airport happen to be going for breakfast. He'll randomly message me like the night before or that morning. He's like, I know it's last minute. Do you want to go meet up for breakfast? And that's kind of how it always works. Is like, you don't know when you're going to fly. He's got a cub, so he clearly can only go when he can go.
Yeah.
So it's not like you can plan weeks in advance. So that's called Sky Manor, has delicious, delicious food, but that's in New Jersey. I think it's N57. The cool part about that is like the tail draggers just pull up right in front of literally in front of people, and they just park on the grass. And then there's me that has to go way down there on the ramp.
Yeah.
But and that's a fun thing to do. That's like, but I have to say, and it's not a far flight for me, Lancaster, it's I think it's a Delta at the Lancaster airport. I think it's LNS. They have this restaurant, and like it's like a restaurant, like a sports bar thing. So people, it brings people in just to go and eat there, and they can watch the planes. So it definitely, I think having that like sports bar theme with a bar in it brings like people. I mean,
not necessarily pilots
in Lancaster,
yeah.
Right? Where would you go in Lancaster? That's a cool place to eat.
Yeah,
it's Lancaster.
That is cool.
Like,
yeah,
Lancaster, Pennsylvania.
I don't know anything about Lancaster, so
okay, when you go through Lancaster, Pennsylvania, a lot of places, including diners, have the rack that you tie your horses up for the horse and buggies.
Yeah.
So I think having the bar, that's probably the only, no, I'm sure there's other places,
yeah.
but like
that's cutting
having
edge
the bar
there.
is probably like, yeah. So, but like one time I flew to, I think it was Smoketown, and we landed and the diner had closed. So we like walked down the street because you could walk through it. And I had like my scarf around my neck, and I had like I don't know if it was like, I think I had like Burberry shoes on. People were driving by and they were like staring, like, where is she from? And
you do not
we
belong
went to
here.
a random, yeah. And then like, oh my gosh, it was just so out of our loop. But if you go to the Lancaster Internet, I think it's like Lancaster International, I think they call it. I actually don't know that for sure, but all I remember is the guy that says Lancaster Tower. That's how he says it, Lancaster Tower. But
it sounds like you're talking about Amish country in Pennsylvania.
It's definitely Amish country, which I'm sure
I've been there. I've been camping there, and one of the funniest things I remember was we were camping and we went to this big. They have they're really known for like baked goods and stuff like that.
Yes, yeah,
and they have stores and stuff. They want you go and buy stuff. And I remember this one place was in Amish country, but the name of the town was Intercourse.
They have all these bad towns in Lancaster. Like, we're talking really, yeah. So, like,
Yeah.
I feel like you only went to camp in Intercourse.
And it was funny because there was like coffee mugs in the store, this Amish store that had like I had fun in Intercourse or something. It was like this, like, oh my God, I can't believe they have these here.
Well, there's a waypoint, which now that I say it, you might hear it, but there's a waypoint. Oh gosh, I think it's beyond Virginia, but it's FUK. So like you'll be like Sirius 246 Sierra direct fuck.
Like, oh my gosh, that's hilarious.
So
I know who names these waypoints.
I know. One time I was
entertaining.
I went to the Keys and we are coming back, and I'm like in the middle. I'm way out off of Miami coast, and all I see is Gucci. Like, where's the Gucci in the middle of the ocean? Because I want to go there.
Yeah, I want to go there.
But yeah, so
we had when I went down to Nashville, there was I have found that generally they try to name the waypoints in the area that has something to do with that region.
Mm-hmm. Well, what does fuck have to do with Virginia?
Well, I don't know.
For lovers. Virginia's for lovers.
Right. Virginia is for lovers.
See, I didn't say the bad word. I said direct fuck.
Yeah. Right. That was fun to say.
It's not like, it's not like, I'm just saying on our podcast, no one can get offended because I'm not saying the bad word. I'm saying fuck.
Yeah.
Say it like that. Fuck.
There's like an arrival that I did into Nashville called the Paisley 4, I think, arrival. And the guy that I was flying with, so Brad Paisley is a country music singer. And the guy that I was flying with was like, I think that's because it says Paisley or Pasley. I'm like, it's Paisley.
I would not know that. Yeah.
I was like, just based on this, I mean, I'm not a big country music person, but I know who Brad Paisley is.
But how do you get a freaking arrival?
I know.
You get an arrival named after you. It's not like Johnny Cash's arrival. That's somebody you would know in Knox or in Nashville.
And then I noticed there was like different waypoints that had something to do with like a country music person, and I thought, how do they get these things named after them? That's cool.
I want one named after me.
Yeah.
Stephanie. Yeah. Oh my goodness. But yeah, okay. So that was fun. Yeah, I do wish I could fly to Lancaster and do it more often because I never think about it. But like it was just a random thing that you just are like, you hungry? Let's go.
Yeah. So what do you other than that and the $100 hamburgers, if you're taking someone up like your niece or family member or something, what do you normally do? What's your favorite thing to do with them?
So depending on, a lot of times I always do the Hudson. You know, but a lot of
times. So like
how
many times have you done that?
Oh, a lot.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, and I would recommend staying in the Bravo because one time I was like, I wasn't arguing with my friend, but I was like, I don't want to go in the Bravo because you have to switch frequencies, you know, and I was like, I just do my own call outs, and he was like, it's safer. Well, we got up to the Liberty, and all of a sudden a pop-up VIP TFR came. And so if I didn't go in the Bravo, I would have actually not known about it.
Oh, geez.
And so it was, so from now on, I will always do the Bravo. Obviously, if they have time and they're cleared for it, you can do the Bravo. But a lot of times, I'll often you can fly to Atlantic City. There's a cute little restaurant on the airport, has really good cheesesteaks. That's super cheap. That's a fun place. But a lot of times I will fly over to like Monmouth Executive, and then I'll do the entire coast down south.
Okay.
And then when you get to Atlantic City, before you get to the Charlie, you turn around because then there's restricted airspace down there anyway.
Yeah.
So like then you turn around and you just head back up. So if somebody's on this side, they still see the coastline, and somebody's on this side, they still see. So
Oh, that's cool. See, I don't have any coastline
Yeah.
near me.
Yeah. Like, here's a cow.
Yeah. There's a hill.
Hmm. Hmm.
Look at that
Yeah,
tower.
exactly. Exactly.
Yeah. Um,
Oh,
there are a few places, and I can go, so I can fly down to Lexington or Louisville, Kentucky, and usually get like a crew car and drive somewhere, to some of these larger airports that don't actually have an airport on the field.
hmm.
Then, but I'm always looking for places that I like. There's a lot of old military airports that have been,
Yes.
they're municipal airports now, and they
Yeah.
um, maintain them really well, and they often have restaurants on them, and that's cool. I love historic stuff like that, so I love
Yeah.
to go to those.
Well, I think it's Atlantic City. ACY. No, it's not actually Atlantic City. What is it? But there's one, and there's just old airplanes. And I always say, like, if
Mm.
they put a fence up, that would be the coolest haunted house
Mm.
attraction, because they look
Yeah,
like, if you even tried to get in one, there'd probably be like 7,000 different types of animals living in there.
yeah,
But if you put up a fence so that nobody's going onto the taxiway or anything, like that could be a huge. See, I'm always
yeah,
about making money.
yeah. That's cool.
um, but yeah, like when I flew to Connecticut once for lunch, we just landed and took an Uber into town because they have like
Hmm.
the best pizza. So like
Hmm.
it is what it is. But
Yeah.
sometimes I don't fly to a place to get food at that location. I go, you know, to try something new.
Right. Yeah, true. They do have there's a newsletter, an email newsletter that I signed up, and I think it's called funplacestofly.com.
Uh-huh. Okay.
And if you were like new and you're trying to figure out, okay, well, I want to go to some new places and I want to figure out what's near me, then that website is something you can sign up for, and it usually tells you like, their EAA chapters are having like a pancake breakfast on a particular day, or there's a fly-in here particular day, and or this place has a restaurant. Then it's a good place to kind of figure out and plan. Like I have a list in my phone of places that are about an hour flight
Right. Hmm.
that I want to go to and try. And maybe
Yeah.
sometimes there's like a little museum or something like that. Then you can go do that. I think it's fun. I like to do it, but it is not $100.
I know. And that, like, that's what always cracked me up, was because, like, the fact that someone at who John was golfing with, first of all, we're paid members for this club. So if you're gonna complain about me flying for food to stuff my fat stomach with food, I can complain about the cost of a membership, because they just paid and then they go into the men's grill, and it's only men only.
Oh my
And
gosh.
which is funny because I always joke, like, and they're always like, it's like the Masters. I think they said that they make $800,000 an hour at the merchandise tent at the Masters. But
Yeah.
then, everybody rants and raves about, oh, you can get an egg salad sandwich for $1.50. Like,
Yeah.
okay, got it.
Yeah.
So that's how they
Right.
think. Like, we pay monthly
Yeah.
dues, we pay yearly dues, but they talk about the fact that they got a sandwich special for $5. Okay.
Do you know someone that just went to the Masters? Because I know someone that just went.
Is that person married?
No,
That Okay, give him my
no.
number. I just
Oh.
need anyone that can get me into the Masters. I don't care if it's male or female. Give him my number. Tell him
It
what's
was
up.
it was the first time, and he was telling me all about the whole experience, and it's quite the ordeal, and I mean quite
My
the
husband's
cool.
been there twice.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's so I'm sure he had similar stories on the
Oh my
security
God.
and the
Oh my
club,
gosh.
and just
Yeah.
everything was it was cool to
And
hear
then
about.
our country club has a lot of PGA tours. So,
Hmm.
like, we might not be the Masters in Augusta, but it's really cool that we are members where, Tiger Woods plays, or somebody,
Hmm.
somebody super cool will show up.
Yeah.
Even, oh crud, what's his name? I can't think of it, but there was a country, I don't know, it's one of the hot young country guys. He was playing at our country club.
Yeah.
Um, one, like, last year, and I was like, huh, maybe I need to start golfing.
Yeah. Or at least using the facilities. more, right?
I use it, but I use it for their alcohol.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Do they have a pool you go to,
They
or
do.
what?
I used to take my niece, but
Yeah.
I have to say there's that whole stigma. I don't even know if you want to say, yeah, or I don't even have to say it nicely, but like you have the country club moms where they just drop their kids off and the kids are raised at the country club. I was sitting there with my 4-year-old niece and we were having lunch, and these kids came in and they were all teenagers, and the kid put his feet up on the table and he leaned back and he was like, "Hello, Vanessa, Vanessa." And he's like yelling across the pool. And I just wanted to go and grab him by the neck and be like, "You don't even know what's up." I'm trying to say that in nice PT. I mean, I wanted to throw him off of the deck. He was and I thought,
obnoxious.
This girl is a waitress who probably makes more than any waitress we've ever known. Because, but she didn't have to put up with that. And it's like, it's just like,
it's not,
the parents don't even have a clue that her kids act like that.
Yeah.
They don't even know because they just drop them off. And then I'm sitting there like playing with my niece, and if I decide like, oh my God, I can't be in the pool another minute, I sit on the edge and she'll be like, watch this. Like there's all these moms just lined up and they're not even watching their kids. The lifeguard is watching their kids. Yeah. And I'm like, well, if I'm going to pick somebody that's going out, I'm not picking my niece. Like I'm going to list every single one of these kids' mom that's going to go under before mine. Like it's not going to be mine because I can see it. But how many, I feel bad for lifeguards. And when I was in high school, I lifeguarded at Dorney Park. It's a water park up here in Allentown, Pennsylvania. If you were a deep water guard, like you were the cool guards. Okay. So I was a deep water guard. Okay.
Oh.
And we used to mark in the inside of our visors, we would draw stick figures, and if they had like a dress, you knew if they were like big or little, you would mark who you would save. And like other people would never save anyone, but you would also want to be at like this one deep water section or the wave pool. So you had like you wanted to be at this one, I forget the name of it, but it was this like little tiny slide that dropped you into like a 15-foot pool. And people would get up there and they'd go, "Hey, she can't swim." And they would like tell you, but let their kid go down the slide. And I'm like, oh my God. So you always wanted to be at that. I know. But for me, it was super cool because you wanted to plan it. You wanted to plan it over lunch. So then you were there for 2 hours. So you'd go from this person, this side to this side. You'd be an hour here and an hour there. And you would just be like, it would be hot, super hot, but you knew you would be jumping in the pool in like 5 seconds. You'd jump in, you'd swim over, and you'd save them. And it was like, but like you learn. I mean, from that moment, I was in Atlantis one time, and I was actually, this really annoyed me because I had my extensions in. I had just had my hair done, and while I go on vacation, I'm a dry shampooer because I'm not gonna try to blow out this weave. And I'm in there, and I just find myself anytime I'm at a pool, I'm aware. The middle of the pool kind of got a little deeper. I think maybe like 5 feet, and this little girl just kept getting closer, and then she was like yelling for her dad as she was going under and under. And the lifeguards don't see it. The parents aren't noticing. And I freaking dove into the pool. I was on a phone call.
Oh no.
I'm pretty sure my boob popped out of the one side of my bathing suit. Okay. I freaking swam over and got her. And then the parents just they put a life jacket on her and put her back in the pool. And I'm like, oh my God. But it's just, I don't know. It's just like, it's funny. But
well, once you've been a lifeguard, I guess you're always kind of like in tune.
No, I am never going to be I am never. You could not pay me. I bet you we made so little money, but it was more for the fun.
Yeah.
It's really sad to say that, but like when you work somewhere that you can actually do it, that's the whole point. But all these kids that they're trained, they actually don't probably know how to do anything.
Mm-hmm.
But
yeah. I remember our public, we had like a public pool in the small town I grew up in. And if you got the job as being one of the lifeguards, then you were the shit. I mean, that was the job.
Exactly. But see, and then you'd have to park at the bottom of the hill and you'd have to walk all the way up there. So that was probably the most, I was an athlete in high school. I can tell you that my butt was probably in the best shape of my life because I had to walk 10 minutes up a hill every day to go to work.
Yeah.
Yeah, you were cool.
Yeah, that's right. You always had a good tan going on. It was like
exactly. And that's probably why, I'm gonna have skin cancer one day.
Oh gosh. I guess I was exposed to fly-ins, and I didn't know they were really called like fly-ins or $100 hamburgers when my uncle used to take me from one place to the next. So that's kind of how I got introduced to this whole $100 hamburger thing, and it was always really, really fun.
Did you ever like tell somebody like, well, what are you doing? We're just flying to eat. And they're like, what? Like,
yeah,
someone who's not they're just like, what?
Yeah. But I love talking about it. I love telling them about it. I'm like, yeah, this is a cool thing that we can do, and go to a different airport and eat. And yeah,
I'll go to the same place and always get the cheesesteak at the same restaurant. It's like, you should try everything on the menu, but I'm still like, it's almost
no,
like
you go there for
only
that.
wants chicken nuggets, right? It's like,
it's like there and get what you want.
Yeah. I mean, if they put a Chick-fil-A at an airport, I can guarantee you a gazillionaire, because Eric from AOPA loves Chick-fil-A. He'd probably fly from Maryland just to wherever we put a Chick-fil-A, right? We should do it. You want to go in the business?
They don't have a Chick-fil-A up there?
Well, they don't have them in airports. Could you imagine if you could fly in? You could just fly in. Obviously, there's no like drive-through, but you could fly in, park, and then be like, where you could like, oh my God, I'm a genius. You could just be like on frequency and be like, hey, I need a Cobb salad, blah, 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 blah. And then they'd be like, your order's number 12. And then you park and you turn your plane off, and then you get your food, and then you try to turn your plane back on, but it's flooded because it's so hot.
Right. So then you sit in your plane and eat eat under the wing. Picnic under the wing.
Oh, boom. We are gonna be so rich.
That'd be so
but
cool.
I'm too lazy to actually put this into a thought.
I am too. Give it to someone else. Someone else that's listening. Exactly. Here's an idea. We want you to please fulfill this.
All we ask is we get free food for life.
Yeah, and we'll send people there. We'll go and visit, and we'll be your favorite.
Well, it was like at the Cirrus tent. Apparently, people were walking into and don't ever do this for anyone listening. Apparently, people were walking into the Cirrus tent, and they're like, "Well, we're with Stephanie," and then they were let into the VIP lounge.
Oh, yeah,
yeah, and they were never with me.
Oh, shoot!
Like there were times that I didn't even know who they were.
Oh, that's not cool.
Yeah, so I don't want to get in trouble for Ashka.
People should not do that. That's not cool. And you don't want them doing that, because if they did something that was embarrassing or something.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like I'm not a representation of Cirrus. I jokingly told Cirrus, somebody said, oh, how do you like working for Cirrus? And I was like, I don't work for Cirrus. They work for me. But,
yeah.
But like, get this straight. Like, I do have a relationship with them that I don't want to lose, and I'm happy with them, and so I don't want to be the one reason that there's no longer a VIP owners lounge at air shows. Or I'll just be banned, and my face will be on the door, and it'll say, do not let her in.
She's on the blacklist.
Oh my God. As long as they put it as a pink list.
That's right. You briefly mentioned that you have an airplane that's a new airplane that you've ordered with Cirrus. Now that we're talking about Cirrus.
Yeah.
What was that experience like?
Oh gosh, I ordered it like 2.5 years ago. Yeah, that's why the one I own now, that was what I found to keep me in the loop until my new one came. I got to go to Knoxville to finally, I waited like 2 years to finally get to the moment that I'm actually designing it.
Okay.
We're still trying to tweak the color. Apparently, I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing, but I'm the longest they've ever worked on a custom cirrus.
Oh, well.
Things aren't right.
Yeah.
I kind of feel that way too. Like, I mean, if you say it can be custom, it can be custom, but there's like limitations to specific shades or hues of the colors because one, like you can only have FAA approved wing colors because my wing has fuel. Now other planes, they're made of different materials, so they could have color. You know, it's just my aircraft can't. And then the color that I wanted, which I won't say, it cannot be the actual color because it's either going to fade within 2 years because it's so bright, or it could also crack. I have to just now finally come to the conclusion of which shade of it that I want, which is very difficult because I had for 2 years I've had this envision, and now I have to like retrain my brain that that's not the color that I'm gonna get.
Yeah.
So like I like, you know, they blew up the colors for me, and I'm sure it's my hormones, but I cried because it's not the color that I wanted. Like it's not actually it. Like it's not, you know, so
you're trying to accept that. You're in the process of acceptance right now.
Yeah, and like I designed the interior was I think within 5 minutes we had the interior laid out. Like that was the easy part. The design is done. It's the color that I'm struggling with.
Well, you'll get to it, you know. Sometimes it just takes a little while to like for me, I would wake up in the middle of the night and be like, okay, I think I'm gonna go with this color. Like it would be like a middle of the night thing.
Yeah, I think they're used to people like that are like, boom, that's it.
Yeah.
And then there's me who's like, can you redo it? But I do have a deadline. They've put me on a deadline now that I have to have an answer.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
wow.
God bless the salesmen and the designers of Cirrus, because they might never do a custom Cirrus after mine.
Oh man. Well, I can't wait to see it when it's done. I'm sure it'll be amazing.
Yeah, it will. It'll be fun.
Right. So well, this was so fun. I love talking about flying and airplanes and food, and all the other stuff.
And food. Oh.
Yes.
Yeah, that's fun. We'll have to do it. And like the last time you were in Allentown, you flew there and technically had food with me. Technically.
Right. Yeah, that's true. If you are listening and you have a spot that you love to fly in to eat, then please let us know. And thank you so much for listening to this episode of Cockpits and Cocktails. Make sure you subscribe and share this episode and tune in for the next one, which I'm sure will also be full of exciting topics.
Yes.
Good.
Thanks for listening. All right.
Cheers.
I'll see you. Bye.
Bye.